Dear students, today we are stepping on the eighth ladder of our webinar series with the topic Inculcating, Inculcating the Art of Empathetic Conversation through Active Listening. I take this opportunity to welcome our eminent speaker, Dr. Ankdeep Kaur Atwal, Assistant Professor and Head Department of English at Shri Guru Granth Sahib World University, Fatehgarh Sahib. She has done her Masters in English, NET qualified, MPhil, and Doctorate in Eco-Criticism and Indian Writings in English. Her areas of specialization is literary theory, Indian writings in English, linguistics, and film studies. She has earned experience of 17 years in teaching and 9 years in research. Her publications include 2 books, book chapters, university study notes at Punjabi University, Patiala. Adding to this, she has published 5 research papers in reputed international journals. She has maintained a good academic record by presenting more than 12 papers at international and national conferences or seminars. She has delivered various invited talks at educational institutions, edited journals, and magazines. Her professional achievements include organization of various workshops, symposiums, and literary fests. She has served as a member of various Board of Studies, Academic Council of the University, Women Grievance Redressal Cell, Faculty Grievance Redressal Cell. Besides this, her sports achievements includes that she is a player of Taekwondo and an athlete. Her hobbies are writing poetry in English, Hindi, and Punjabi, reading, singing, and handcrafting. So it's an honor and privilege for us, ma'am, to have you with us today. I'm sure our students will be enriched with your enlightened words, emphasizing on listening skill. So over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Well, good morning, all of you. Am I audible?
Hanji, ma'am, you're audible.
All right. Before starting, I would like to present my screen.
Hanji, ma'am, sure.
Yeah. Is it visible to everyone?
Yes, ma'am. It's visible.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Well, good morning, everybody.
Good
I'm
morning,
indeed
ma'am.
obliged to ma'am for such a wonderful introduction. And
Thank you, ma'am.
indeed, I'm obliged to Madam Principal, Dr. Simalpreet Kaur, for giving me this opportunity to interact with the students and academia at this platform. I congratulate you, ma'am, for organizing this webinar, specifically in the times of lockdowns, during which increasing frustration and depression has resulted in increased number of domestic violence and suicides all over the world. Well, in the current scenario, what I can make out is the reason of such unfortunate incidents of violence against self and the others is the lack of empathetic conversation. And this is why I feel that the organizers at this college has very aptly chosen this topic for today's webinar. We talk with many people in a day, but still feel an entire absence of a feeling of being heard, of having a hearty conversation, a fulfilling, a satisfying conversation. Rather, what we feel is being involved in a noisy environment where no one is listening to no one. Rather, we're just adding to the mess of confusion, mesh of emotions with more and more confusion. So, what we are left with is a mesh of confusion, of being misunderstood, and the worst is with the feeling of being not heard. Now, see, in this picture, nobody is concerned what the boy is speaking, everybody is concerned about oneself. These days, we are not listening to anyone. What we want to do is to just speak. So, what is missing in such conversation? Perhaps it is the absence of empathy in our conversation, the absence of involvement, of connectivity between the speaker and the listener, which fails the conversation as an ineffective talk. So, in such talks, usually a listener, instead of listening actively, is more focused on judging, criticizing, and above all, relating his or her experiences to the speaker's words. Most of us do not listen to understand, rather, we listen to reply. And this hinders the listener from understanding what the speaker wants to share and thus leads to unsatisfying conversation. And this is why we are losing the art of listening. So, what I am going to focus on is how to inculcate the art of empathetic conversation through active listening. Whenever we talk about com skills, the first thing that flash upon our inward eye is the communication model, which comprises these four skills: listening, speaking, reading, and writing. What we believe that a person who
Hanji students, are you audible to the resource person?
No,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am. No, ma'am.
Excuse me,
No,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Students are not able to listen you properly. Respected ma'am.
hello, hello, excuse me, ma'am, am I audible now?
Hanji ma'am, we are audible now.
All right, thank you. Um, so what we were discussing, it was that whenever we talk about communication skills, the first thing that flash upon our inward eye is that the communication skill models comprises these four skills: listening, speaking, reading, and writing. Well, what we believe that a person who speaks fluently, confidently, and convincingly is usually considered to possess good comm skills. So basically, what we have done, we have limited comm skills to just spoken skills. We come across many people who express themselves very effectively. but still we don't feel satisfied after a conversation with them. On the other hand, there are some people with whom we feel a kind of healthy and hearty conversation, even without their uttering a single word. And these are the people with whom we want to share our thoughts, which is the basic definition of communication, to share thoughts, feelings, emotions, and information with others. So, what's so special about such people? Why we want to have their company? Why do we rush to them whenever we face any emotional disturbance or any kind of confusion? Perhaps it is because they make us feel heard, they make us feel understood, and by doing so, they develop a trust through empathy. This is the reason that they get along so well with everyone around them. This is the reason that we like such kind of people. Now, what is empathy? Empathy is an essential element in our communication. It is an ability to indeed understand the other's perspective, the other's point of view, their emotions, their situation, and their fears as well, while stepping back from one's own standing, from our own standing, and keeping our feelings detached. It requires putting the other person at priority. The other person is much more important than our own thinking. And it requires understanding them without judging them and criticizing them. We are living in a world which is self occupied. We are so busy with ourselves, always running short of time, and we are in the race of excelling over others. And it is a task to listen somebody empathetically is a task which demands a serious effort to listen someone else with patience, as it consumes the time which we can spend for our own concerns. So,
Sorry for the interruption, ma'am. Your screen
yes,
is not visible.
okay, yes, is it visible now?
हाँ जी ma'am.
Thank you. So, what we were discussing that we are so much engrossed with our own problems that we don't want to spend time on to while listening others, because we believe that that time we can consume or we can spend for our own concern. So it is difficult for us to spend time to sort out someone else's problem. And if we do listen them, the 90% of the listening is inactive and the rest is focused on our own similar experiences and opinions. So instead of putting ourselves in their shoes, what we try to do is to put them in our shoes, in our situation, and judge them accordingly. And in this process, we somehow demean them or we belittle them. So instead of trying to understand them, what we do, we expect them to understand us, to resonate with our views without giving them chance to speak out what they want to share. Resultantly, our interaction it becomes cold, fruitless, and just an indifferent exchange of replies without any sense of connectivity and empathy. So we fail to connect to build a connection with the speaker. But this scenario can be changed if we intentionally listen instead of talk, instead of speaking, and try to understand in place of criticism. So, by doing so, we may establish an authentic human interaction. Either it is in family, friend circle, workplace, neighborhood, or the like, through active empathetic listening, we may easily delve a healthy relationship, and cordial environment. So, what is empathetic listening? Empathetic listening, it means to hear your conversation partner authentically. It is ability to listen with sincerity, to understand other person's opinions, ideas, and values, to resonate on an emotional level by connecting to his or her needs and making him or her feel understood. It is to help in purging out the emotions in a positive way. Purging out, what does purging out means? It is to take out the emotions from your heart to your words and in front of somebody. So, which was otherwise, these emotions were otherwise disturbing them to the core, frustrating them to such an extent that it wins out in the form of violent reaction and even the suicide. So when we listen to somebody, we help the person to purge out the emotions which was otherwise very, very harmful for his personality. So empathetic listening basically opens a space for safe and secure sharing of experiences where we do not fear of being criticized, we do not fear of being laughed at by the other person. So basically, empathy fills the gap. It bridges the gap between two people and builds a safe and secure environment where their emotional connection is much more important than the words. Without speaking anything, just by listening to the other person, we have created a very safe and secure relationship. Now, one thing which is important to understand here is that being empathetic never means that you have to agree with whatever is said. It rather involves
Excuse me,
an effort.
excuse me,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am. Yes, sir.
Ma'am, please share your PPT. Actually, your screen is not visible to us.
Okay, again.
And your power presentation is not visible on the
Just a
screen.
minute. Just a minute.
Okay, ma'am.
Is it visible now?
Yes, ma'am, it's visible now. Thank you so
Okay.
much.
Thank you, sir. So, basically, empathetic listening, it bridges the gap. It helps to create a safe environment. And it never means to agree with whatever is said. Rather, what it means to involve an effort to understand the other person's point of view, to let the other person speak out, share whatever he wants to share with us. Now, the issue is that all of us are not inherently empaths. So it is not something natural to us to identify, to process, to understand, to resonate the emotions poured in front of us by the other person. So what we can do, and we have to learn empathy. Empathy can be learned with conscious effort. We can drill the empathetic conversation through patience and active listening. Just a minute. Now the question arises, how can the listener be benefited with empathetic conversation? Why we should listen to somebody, right? Why should anyone give emphasis on learning of empathetic listening? As I have already pointed out earlier, that we are living in a self-occupied world. Most of the people are so involved that they do not care about anyone else. Alas, the relationships today are more or less the relationship of convenience. But the research suggests that if that when we listen empathetically, it leads to more satisfied relationship and more social recognition. Now, all of us, we are social animals. Man is a social animal, and we always urge for social recognition. And thus, social success is the greatest source of happiness and well being. Such people who listen empathetically to others are often benefited from healthy relationships as well as exciting professional opportunities. In recent times, the rate of divorce, if we talk about our personal life, the rate of divorce increased drastically. Now, increasing rate of divorce is perhaps it may be one of the results of the absence of empathetic conversation between the couples. Even the most romantic couples, they drift away just because they start believing that their partner is not listening and is not involved with them. Similarly, the co-workers, if we talk about our office or our college, the co-workers, they fail to make a good team and fail to achieve the desired target just because they don't feel connected. And why they don't feel connected? Because they feel they are not understood and acknowledged by their teammates. And all this just due to the lack of empathetic conversation among them. Thus, it is very essential to have an empathetic conversation in personal and professional life. Now, here I take an example of empathetic conversation. I will read this conversation and will discuss how Suzanne, the two characters, Suzanne and Millie, they created a healthy relationship between them through empathetic conversation. So Millie is little bit upset over something, and when Suzanne she enters the office, she notices that Millie is not happy. So what is Suzanne saying? Hi dear, what's up? Hey, nothing as such. Why are you so upset? Something disturbing you? So now here Suzanne detects a negative emotional vibe and uses a question to dig deeper. No, actually, a bit with my husband, nothing as such. So Millie is not open to share some problem with her husband with Suzanne. So she said, nothing as such, right? You may share with me if you feel like. Maybe you feel better talking about it. So here Suzanne makes herself available and lets Millie know that Millie can rely on Suzanne. And this is very, very important when we start a conversation with somebody. We need to make other person feel that we are here for them and we are available, we are ready to listen to them. Millie, I don't know. I may be wrong too, but there's something not right between us. Suzanne, I'm sorry, I don't want to interfere, but why do you feel so? So Suzanne here asked an open-ended question, and she is not intrusive here. She is not dominating here, or she is not interfering with the life of Millie. Just she asked, why do you feel so? Well, I'm sorry, I'm bothering you with my personal problems. No, no, not at all. I'm always here for you. You may share anything if you feel like. So here Suzanne creates a safe space. She makes her understand that she is concerned about you and she can share if she want to share anything. Millie, oh, that's nice of you. Actually, I saw him texting a girl from his office. She is his colleague and I know her well too. And even he told me that there's nothing personal between them. But it's upsetting me a lot. I feel he's having an affair with her. Suzanne, so he's texting with this girl from work. You're worried it might be more between them? So what Suzanne did here? She paraphrases. She repeated the words of Millie in her own language. And why she did this? She paraphrases to make sure that she got the message right. And when she paraphrases, she made Millie feel that Suzanne has understood her in a right way, right? Yes, I'm not able to come over it. I love him so much and I'm afraid I will lose him just because of my jealousy. Suzanne, I do understand what you feel and I know how much you love him. Maybe that's why you are acting so jealous. So again, Suzanne paraphrases her as well as she validates her. Validates it that she considers that Millie is right. Millie is not wrong in whatever she feels. So this makes Millie feel empathized by Suzanne. But is he texting her at odd hours and regularly? Is there any other reason you think he's ditching you? So here she asks an open-ended question to understand the situation further. Right? She is not just giving her views over Millie and her husband or the girl. She's just posed an open-ended question to understand the situation as well as to keep the conversation going. No, I don't think so. Maybe this is just my misunderstanding. Suzanne, shall I suggest something? Now, here, instead of just giving a direct suggestion, a direct advice to her, what she asked for permission before giving an advice. Millie, oh, yes, please. Discuss with your husband. Tell him what you discussed with me. Tell him that you don't want to lose him and so want to clear all such misconceptions in your mind. Talk lovingly to him and let him feel your love. I feel this will help you. So here she encourages Millie in a very positive way to have a conversation with her husband and clarify the situation. So this is how Suzanne very effectively gave an advice which Millie didn't mind. What if it worsened the situation? What if he doesn't like it? Now Millie is afraid that it may result in more problems. Then maybe you could solicit a professional counsel. It may solve your problem. So Suzanne is ready with an alternative solution also. Suzanne didn't say that no, this will help you out, so you should go and talk to your husband. What she did, she, uh, she accepts that there is possibility that her suggestion may also be incorrect. So she gives another alternative that you can then solicit a professional counsel. Millie, yes, I think I should talk to him. Thanks, Suzanne. I'm feeling so positive after talking to you. My pleasure, Millie. You can always trust me. I'm always here for you. So she validates her trust. Suzanne validates Millie's trust and extends her support in future too. So this is how, by listening to Millie empathetically, Suzanne creates an environment which benefited both of them. The conversation here highlights that Millie's need to be understood, to be heard, is much more important than Susan. Susan, though never approved, she never accepted that the husband is cheating on Millie. Yet, she didn't even reject Millie's feelings. This made Millie feel that Suzanne trusts and understands what she's telling her. So she opens up with her, she shares her problem, and had Suzanne rejected the idea of husband cheating or have started relating to Millie's feeling with her own marital problems or some of other such experiences, this is what we normally do. Hai na? When somebody shares something with us, what we do, we start relating our own experience, right? And this is where conversation ends. So, by not relating her own experiences with Millie, uh, Suzanne somehow made Millie to not to be afraid that Suzanne may share her secret with her other friends too, or that Suzanne is not actually concerned about Millie. So she made Millie to feel that Suzanne is concerned about Millie, is listening to her by heart, and wants to help her out. So the important point here is how to establish the trust and empathy between the two. As active empathetic listening is an art that can be learned, what strategies should be followed to acquire this skill? How can we learn this skill? Well, here I suggest some of the strategies, though these are not the be all and end all of the listening skill, but we can follow some of the rules or some of the patterns with which we can establish, in which we can inculcate the art of empathetic conversation through active listening. So the first thing that we need to take care is that the conversation is about their problems, not ours, not yours, right? So be mindful that conversation is about them, not about you. So during the conversation, it's the other person who needs to purge out the emotion and thoughts. That person wants someone who can listen to him attentively and understands him. The person at the first hand wants to tell something, then discuss it, and then maybe, not sure, not always, that needs your advice. So give an empathetic ear to the speaker, keeping yourself aside, which is the core element of the empathetic conversation. And maybe it is tough too because we cannot zero down ourselves easily. But what we need to understand is that the person is at the moment more important than the validation of our own opinion. The other person's opinion is important than ours. So the basic necessity of the speaker is to be listened, is to be understood, and not to be judged. So when we are in conversation with anyone, what we need to do is to listen actively, validate his or her opinion, and create a safe place to purge out for the speaker. So listening attentively. This is very important, and active listening is usually considered as a synonym to empathetic listening. It is very essential to listen very attentively with entire focus on the speaker while giving full time to the speaker to open up. This means that during the conversation, the listener should shun off any kind of distraction and other engagements for a while. Moreover, the listener should also try to read the silence and the underlying meanings of the words of the speaker. Now, here comes the problem. When we read these underlying meanings, we try to formulate a meaning of our own and judge the situation according to us. As we are not natural empaths, this is what we need to work on. Thus, we have to read the underlying meanings, have to respect the silence, but only to give the speaker a sense of space and trust that you are available to listen and to resonate with the emotion. Now, how can we have attentive listening, active listening? For this, we have to avoid distractions. Distraction is one of the major barriers that fails a conversation. One's engagement at workplace, in the family, and other social groups, and the race to excel than the others keeps one mind engrossed all the time. We are all the time busy with ourselves. So, in such a scenario, we even sometimes compromise with our own me time and the social obligation. Even at the workplace, we are more focused on just providing and collecting information. Even in the classroom, what we do, we just provide and collect the information. Rather, instead of analyzing the situations ourselves, instead of studying the faces of our students or the faces of our peers. And all this just for the sake of saving time. Besides this, nowadays, a very serious distraction, which you can see in the picture also, is our mobile phones and our tabs and our laptops. We are so much engrossed in our phones that we hardly pay any heed to what the other person says and usually gives response like, okay, then yeah, that's bad. And now such responses, what they exhibit that we are not interested, in the conversation, and thus the speaker does not feel connected and goes quiet instead of opening with you. And thus it is very important that we should keep away our mobile phones, switch off the TV or the music, keep away our files, and for a while just focus on what the person says. And by doing so, we make ourselves authentic listeners. Now, while listening, what we do? We criticize, we judge people. So, it is very important that we should not criticize, rather, we should validate. Validate is to let the other person feel that yes, you are not wrong, right? So empathetic listening, it requires an emotional attachment, an intelligent connectivity. When someone is narrating us or describing us one's experience or the problem, we, instead of criticizing, belittling, or demeaning the narration, should understand that the things that may seem trivial to us, unimportant to us, or irritating to us is of utmost importance for the other, at least at that moment. That is very important for that person, and that is why he or she is discussing it with us. So, we should refrain from negative feedback or remarks. Moreover, as we discussed earlier, that we should remember that the conversation is for the other person, not for us. The speaker expects an emotional support and understanding from us, not the judgment or criticism. So instead of adding to the tension of the speaker by giving negative reaction, what we should try to do, we should try to construct an authentic and positive connection. Now, kinesics. Kinesics, what is called body language or gestures, they play a very important role in making the person feel, making the speaker feel that we are connected, that we are interested in their talk. So, kinesics is a non-verbal behavior related to movement, either of any part of the body, our face, our eyebrows, our eyes, our hands, or the body as a whole, our sitting posture. So it means body language and gestures. Our gestures and body language, it speak more than our words. We may enact, we may show that we are listening and responding well. Even then, sometimes the speaker feels that we are not involved and goes quiet. This is just because the speaker has read our body language and has made out that we are not interested in him. So, our body plays a very vital role in creating an understanding or trust. Our posture and gestures can bring people closer. It may also create barriers. So, if we want to lend an empathetic ear to someone, the first thing to be done is to adopt a relaxed posture with open arms and constant eye contact. Now, I have given here a picture where people they're communicating through non-verbal communication, right? So, if you are folding your hands, you're aggressive. You're not listening, right? If you are putting your hands in your pocket, it means that you're impatient to leave. You don't have time to listen. And if it's on your waist, it means it's defensive, right? So similarly, the other kind of things. So the body language, it plays a very important role. You need to have a relaxed posture, sit properly, don't fold your hands, rather your arms should be open, and you should have a constant eye contact. And moreover, very important, that your smile should not be should be proper. It should not be demeaning. It should not be like as if you are laughing at the other person, or it should not be if the person is telling you good news, you are pulling a sad face, or if the person is discussing some problem, then there should not be a smile on your face. So smile, even smile speaks a lot. So what we need to focus on is our body language also. Then paraphrasing. We had discussed in that conversation, in the conversation that we discussed, that Suzanne, she paraphrases, right? So in order to make the speaker know that you are involved with him and understands, try to paraphrase whatever is said. This is a very important and effective strategy for empathetic listening. This creates an atmosphere of understanding that the speaker has been understood well. It allows clarification, questioning, and relating to details. This also helps in creating a space for self exploration. It makes the speaker feel that he has been understood well. So it sends three messages that we are engaged, we care, and we are trying to understand. So when we say such kind of um, conversation, we say such kind of words. For example, so it sounds like, it means that you are paraphrasing. You are wondering if, you're thinking about. So it's important to you that, or you have indicated a number of key points, then narrate, paraphrase all those points that the speaker had said to them. So this makes the speaker feel that you have listened properly, attentively, and understood the person. Then question to keep conversation going, as Suzanne asked a number of questions, है ना? But the questions, they were open-ended. They were not judgmental. They were not dominating. They were not as a giving a result, a conclusive remark. No, it was a question which was open-ended. So questioning helps conversation to keep going. Sometimes people can't express themselves in flow. They need other person to initiate the conversation and keep it going. In such cases, the listener has to analyze the situation and have to ask open-ended questions. Remember that the question should not be personal or judgmental. This way, the listener here takes the charge of the conversation. So here it is not the speaker who is keeping the conversation going, it is the listener who keeps the conversation flowing. But it must be kept in mind that the focus of conversation should remain focused on the speaker only. Moreover, the conversation should not convert into an interview. And if the speaker is not comfortable while answering back, refrain from asking the question. Do not ask the question if the speaker is not comfortable in answering them. Then advice, solicited or unsolicited. In conversation, it is very natural to us that we give advice. But a piece of advice plays a very crucial role in empathetic conversation. One may take it as very positive, the speaker may take it as a positive gesture. It may, but on the other hand, it may also lead to the failure of conversation, as it may imply that it may mean that the listener is imposing his or her own perceptions and ideas on the speaker. Thus, this is always advisable that before giving an advice, one should confirm if the speaker wants an advice in the matter or not, if the speaker wants something from you or not, or just want you to listen. So more importantly, one should always be ready with another option too. The way Suzanne gave two options. One, Millie can talk to her husband, and second, that they may opt for professional counseling. So empathetic listening is mostly about understanding. So unsolicited, unwelcomed advice may end the conversation on a negative note. So always confirm if the speaker needs advice or not. Then silence. Always respect the silence. Silence is not an empty space. Silence is not when the speaker has nothing to say. No, rather it is the space which is very noisy and very important. It is the space where the speaker has so much to say that he has to silence himself or herself before articulating anything. So it may seem awkward when the speaker goes silent during a conversation. But that's when the speaker is trying to make out how to express his feelings. By interfering in that silence, the listener may further push the speaker to complete silence. So, the listener can use silence to allow the other person to take charge of the conversation, to give enough time to process the thoughts and come up with an answer. Right? So, when the person is silent, let the person think what he or she want to speak out. So silence has its own meanings, and it is very crucial in the process of communication. Silence actually gives the speaker a space to think and to express himself effectively. So it is very important to respect the silence. Thus, what we can conclude from all this discussion, all this talk, what we can conclude is that empathetic listening is the foundation of effective communication and obviously one of the secrets to the lasting relationship. When we are willing to put aside our personal views and seek to empathize with others, people will gravitate around us. And when people will gravitate around us, we will obviously move towards success. Either it is social, either it is personal, or it is professional. That in turn will result in authentic relationships and fruitful business partnerships. Even if we are not natural born empaths, we can still develop the skill as long as we are willing to make the conversation about the person in front of you, avoiding distractions, listen actively, refrain from criticism or advice giving, paraphrase, ask open ended questions, adjust your body language, and use silence to your advantage. So, listen empathetically, and others will be naturally drawn to you. Remember, if you are not listening, you are not learning. So, thank you for your patient listening. Now, I'm open for the questions if you want to ask anything from me or if you want to discuss anything.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thanks, ma'am.
Students, do you have any question from the resource person? You may ask the questions directly to the ma'am. Anji ma'am, there is a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Uh, does empathetic conversation need observation of others' behavior?
Yes, definitely. If we observe the behavior of the other person, only then we will be able to understand that the person is going through some problem. If we don't, this is the first basic element of empathetic conversation to observe, right? If we observe somebody, if we will observe only when we give some time to the person. So, if this is very important to observe the other person, the words of the other person, and even the expression on the face of that person, because these things they speak a lot about the problem or the happiness, or it can be anything about the situation. So, observing other person is very, very basic to empathetic conversation.
And ma'am, what if the speaker is not ready to share the problem?
Then we have to ask the question, open-ended question. We have to make the speaker feel that we are here, that the person can trust you, that we are not going to share that person's secret with anyone. That is what we call empathy. We have to create an environment where the speaker opens up with us. Until and unless the speaker, because we all want to share our things, this is a basic that we can't keep our things to ourselves, and that is why we keep frustrating ourselves, that we go in depression and all that. That is why we have empathetic therapies also. So this is a basic need of every human being to share one's thoughts. So, but we share our thoughts only at that place where we feel safe and secure. So, if a person is not ready to share his feelings, what we need to make is to give an understandable silence. Sometimes there are many people with whom you just want to sit down. You don't want to share anything. You don't want to speak anything. But even then, you want that person should stay near you. Even that is a kind of conversation. And with those persons with whom, without speaking anything, we are sharing a comfortable environment that is a secure, that is an empathetic conversation. And naturally, with such people, we open up. Any person can open up with a person with whom he feels safe and secure. So the important is not asking question or to digging in deeper to the problem. The main purpose of empathetic conversation is to let the person feel that you are there for the person, that you are there to support him, you are there to understand him. So when the person feels that he or she is being understood, he will naturally open up.
Okay, ma'am, next question is, should we share our experience with speaker while listening his problem?
It depends. This is something very unsolicited when we discuss. This is what I said, that when we relate our own experiences and problems, we are basically focusing the conversation on ourselves. So it is usually advisable that we should not relate our problems with the person. Only do this when the speaker want to know something, when the speaker want to know about yourself. If you have just to authenticate that yes, whatever you are suggesting is also correct, that you have experienced this. But when we put in our experiences, or when we put in, we relate to our problems, that somehow put the problem of the speaker in a margin, and then he feels that this person is not concerned about me, he is just concerned about his own problem, right? So it's usually advisable that we should not start sharing our own problems with that person, because at that moment the other person is important, our partner is important. So listen instead of speaking yourself.
Next question,
Mm,
ma'am.
yes, ma'am.
Which context would show the speaker is actually sharing his or her problem in reality?
uh, Pardon, I don't understand the question.
Which context would show the speaker is actually
Mhm.
sharing his or her problem in reality?
Yes, obviously. Kinesics is a kind of language where we don't use words. Kinesics is a language which speaks more than the words. The things that we cannot speak, that we cannot put into words, is being spoken by our body language. So sometimes a person who is not, while speaking, while sharing his or problem, is not making an eye contact, is trying to look here and there, that means that person is not comfortable. Right? So kinesics obviously play a very important role in the empathetic conversation, and obviously we can read out if the person is actually comfortable with us, is actually telling us the truth, or is hiding something. The picture that I had shown in the presentation, there was one clip where it was that the person is hiding something, person is lying. If you're putting your hand on your chin, and or you are trying to play with your hair or with your ear, it means that you are hiding something, you are concealing something. It normally means, it doesn't mean that it always means so, it normally means this. So body language obviously help us to make out if the person who is speaking something is genuine, is telling us truth, or is telling us the complete truth, right? So kinesics obviously play a very important role.
Ma'am, I have a question.
Yeah.
What is major difference between empathetic conversation and sympathetic conversation with someone?
Well, this is we usually mix up this, and sympathetic and empathetic conversation. Sympathy is something where you are putting yourself at a higher pedestal, and you're putting the other one at the lower pedestal. Right? You're sympathizing. Oh, it's so bad that it happened to you, है ना? And this never happened to me. I'm the happy one. You are the sad one. Sympathy is usually that kind of thing. Empathy is when we put both of us on a same pedestal, and the other person is very important, right? Empathy is something where we try to understand other person's perspective, whereas sympathy is that we are relating that person to us, and we are trying to make that person a sorry figure. We feel sympathize with a person with whom we feel is a sorry figure, right? So sympathy somehow deeming the person. So it's always advisable that instead of sympathizing with somebody, we should empathize. We should try to understand the problem.
Um, Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you.
There is one question again in the chat box. Ma'am,
Okay.
sometimes we are not able to understand someone's problem. So, how to deal with that situation?
We are not able to understand someone's problem. This very naturally happen, that we analyze other person's problem according to ourselves. And there's where we fail. Here's where we are not able to understand the situation. So first thing what we need to do is to totally zero down yourself. Don't judge the person from your perspective, from your standing, है ना? We may belong to a good family, rich families, है ना? Or we may have never any kind of problem, specifically the students, है ना? With whom we are talking at present. It may be that we are in a very comfortable because we have our parents to take care of all of us, है ना? But so it may happen that we are not able to understand the problems of other people. I have taken example. Uh, we were give you one relate one event. We were going on a road, and there was a traffic policeman. And a person with me, he says that it's very difficult to stand whole of the day in the heat, in the sunlight, and always keep raising your arms in the one direction and the another. And another person sitting with me, he said, then the person should have studied well. He could have been on a good post, right? So there is a two kind of things that one person is understanding, is relating to the problem, and other one is not, right? So it's something very natural, and this is the kind of environment we have been raised in. We sometimes we understand because we have empathize with the other people. The other person can sympathize, right? The thing that we discussed earlier, and the other person just sympathizes. He's not relating the person with his own, right? He's not going to the level of that person. So if we want to understand some person, we need to go to that level. We need to understand the situation of the problem, the basic reason why it happened so, right? And obviously that needs a kind of zero downing yourself. Only then you can understand somebody's problem. Meaning of zero down. Zero down means that you have to completely end up yourself, that you have to completely keep yourself aside, your own perceptions, your own views about the situation. You have just to think about that person, right? Now, we being a teacher, we know a lot of things, you know, we have studied so many years, we have so many years of experiences, but if we don't zero down ourselves, we will not be able to understand our students, right? So the questions raised by students, maybe it is of very basic nature, and when we start teaching them, when we start telling them something, we start from zero, right? We start from the basic concepts, that is downing yourself. Zero down is that start from the very basic.
Okay, ma'am, next question is, what we do when speaker wants that we directly talk with person who create a problem in his life?
What we do when speaker wants that we directly talk with the person who create a problem in his life. Basically, whenever we have a problem with another person, a third person cannot solve it. The third person can only make you understand that you need to talk. The problem between two people can be sorted out only by those two people. So when a speaker wants that we directly talk with the person who create a problem in his life, uh, it means that both of them, they should sit together, and it may be just misconceptions, misunderstanding between those two people that is creating so much of problem. So directly talking to that person may help you better than talking about the problem with that person with somebody else. So this is what the speaker may that's why the speaker may want us to talk to that person directly.
Any other questions, students? Okay, ma'am, I think students are quite satisfied now. So it was a great and wonderful experience listening to you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Now I request our principal, ma'am, Dr. Simarpreet Kaur, to present her vote of thanks. Students, are you able to listen, ma'am? Hello. Ma'am, you're not audible. हाँ जी मैम, you are audible.
हाँ भी विजिबल मेरे वगी लग रही था
Simple.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes, whether my voice is audible to everyone.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Uh, I can't see Dr. Anti. Hello. Hello.
Yes, ma'am. I hope I'm visible.
Yeah, hello.
So, it's a nice to see you, and it was really a very nice interaction. The students are very active. Uh, you're not audible, ma'am, right at the moment.
Hello.
Yes, yes. Now you are.
Yes, okay. Welcome, Dr. Antip Kaur, our very eminent speaker of today's talk, Dr. Antip Kaur, my entire team, and my very dear students. A very good afternoon to all of you. So we are again together on the online platform for our 8th webinar on the very interesting topic, that is art of empathetic conversation, integrating empathetic conversation through active listening. So as all of you have seen that our renowned eminent speaker, Dr. Antip Kaur, she is very wonderful personality, and this pandemic has given opportunity to me to meet my very close friend, Dr. Antip, after a span of, I think, 16 years. We are again together on the online platform. So this is a really wonderful experience for me that I have seen you after such a long time, and I want to extend my heartiest thankful to you that you have given your consent and you have accepted our invitation to enlighten our students on this wonderful topic. So my dear students, as you know, we are so much busy in everyday's work that we don't have any time to converse with each other. We just want to spend most of the time on the mobiles, on TV, on other useless talks, but there is really need of the hour that we have to devote our time on the empathetic conversation. So I think my students and my faculty, they have learned a lot about this topic. So this is not a topic, this is really way of life, and we need to learn it. And Dr. Antip, she has done a great justice by giving this wonderful presentation. I hope in future too, we will again together on the online platform for another topic, for another enlightenment. So a really great thanks to my dear friend, my dear colleague. So this is really a very nice experience with you. So I want to hear something from your side. What was your experience, ma'am?
Oh, well, first of all, thanks for inviting me here, right, and giving me this platform to share my views on this topic. Actually, actually, this is a thing that I usually discuss with my family, with my students, that we are not ready to listen to somebody. You know, we are
Yes,
always,
yes,
instead of listening to other person, we are always ready to put our own inputs. No, 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 you are wrong. Whatever I think is the right. And
mm,
we never analyze if the person has done something to us or with anybody, or why the person did that. Why, if some person is rude to me, or if some person did something wrong to me, we never analyze the reason behind that. We are always
yes,
with, no, that
yes,
person is bad and that is the problem.
yes.
So,
Mhm.
and this is the major reason that we are losing relationships these days. So basically, the relationship are a relationship of convenience. With the person, we have some benefit. We are good with that, and if we are not, then we are creating walls around us, and we are not ready to listen to anybody. So I think this was a very wonderful experience to speak on this for such a long, having a long discussion with students. And one thing I must congratulate you on is that the students of your college, they're very active. They listen very actively, and they pose good questions. Obviously, if they're posing questions, that means that they listen to me. So one thing that the problem arises on online platforms is that we are not sure the other person is listening or not. But the
Yes.
questions that your student pose, that shows that
Mm.
they listen attentively. So I must congratulate you, and they express themselves. The main thing.
Thank,
So I
thank you
must
so much.
congratulate that on
Thank,
right.
thank.
It
I
was such a wonderful
yes,
experience.
yes. I want to convey you that, ma'am. I also conveyed you in the past that most of our students belong to rural backgrounds, and only a few students that belong to urban backgrounds. But I'm really very happy that my students are competing with the urban students. And in
Definitely.
the past 4 months, my students participated in near about 20 to 25 inter-college competitions, and they have grabbed wonderful prizes in all these. Latest, they participated
Mhm.
in the competition organized by university. So and two students have won their prizes, so means our students are competing with the students of university. So
Definitely.
when we say that rural students are no more good in studies and other activities, that is not the matter.
Mhm.
That is
Exactly.
the spirit. We
Right.
need to energize their spirits. So
Right.
I think my entire team that they encourage the students to participate in most of the events, and they have been groomed very well.
Yeah,
So
definitely. And so must
uh,
congratulate your faculty too, right? This is their hard work that is properly visible in the students.
okay, thank you so much. So once again, I wish to extend my heartiest gratitude towards Dr. Angdi, my entire team, organizing committee, and my very dear friends for making this event successful. And we hope to meet together in another platform on another day. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thanks a lot. Have a nice
Thanks a
day to
lot.
all of you.
Same to you. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.